Would you look at that? We are live. The little thing on the thing popped up. Whoa, whoa, look out. What's going on here? Who is that? Terrifying, terrifying.
It's just
Oh,
me.
it's
It's just
you.
me.
Johnny. It was funny as we were just at my in-laws' house, and my niece, who's like 7 months old, 8 months old, we were doing the peekaboo. Where am I? Here I am. Where am I? And that's basically what you just did to me, and you tricked me. You totally tricked me. No idea who you are. Johnny, that's who you are. How's it going, Johnny? Johnny
It's going
Wags.
good, man. That's
You're
right.
what's that?
I said that's right. It's going good, baby.
It's going good, baby. It is a Friday night, and Friday night's all right for podcasting and video games and chatting with friends, and that's what we're doing here. It's just the two of us today, and that's totally fine. Although what always happens is we say it's the two of us, and then somebody else will join at the last second and extend this call. I'm Dolly Demosky, Michigan's own Dolly. There, I'll get it. There we go. Michigan's own.
Yeah.
Good lord, good lord. Yeah, we're gonna have a fun day today. I'm trying to like set up my camera here, y'all. There you go. You got it. You got it. I got stuff to go over. Bing, bing, bing. Wait.
Hey, there we go.
Hey. Well, I hope you're. Mom, I hope your days are going as good as. Okay, we'll stop. We are adults and we're fathers, and our kids are going to see this when they're older, and they're going to say things like cringe. It is a Friday night. It has been a week. We're going to go over a couple of the stories that have been wild this week, or one of the stories. Maybe the one that's heartbreaking to me. But I did want to mention that it is that time. That wonderful time where we just passed the Comic-Con, which is always a fun time. But there's something else coming up, PAX West. And we like to support PAX because PAX is a lot of fun. It's maybe the PAX East and PAX West are definitely my favorite video game events on the calendar. I've never been to PAX West, but JJ has, and JJ always tells me how great it is. I've always been to PAX East, though, loving it there. And, well, lo and behold, did you do PAX West before?
Yeah, like in 2011.
Oh, yeah. It's still nice, though. That's still nice. I hope to make it one day. In the meantime, PAX West this year, we have our party list back, as you all can see. The party list, SideQuest.com's ultimate PAX West party list. So I put it up today. Make sure you guys check it out. Go to SideQuesting.com. There's a ton of events already. There's things lined up already. You can scroll down. So I have handy little kind of spreadsheet style list. I mean, we have a lot of cool events coming up. There's like video game trivia that first day. We have the Mix, which is a really cool indie event. Community events. There's even like this 8-bit big band like concert symphony orchestra thing happening, which is pretty cool. Anywho, plenty of things to check out. You can scroll down and see all the events, the flyers and such as well. Just wanted to pass that along, let y'all know. Go ahead to sidequesting.com. If I say this enough, then maybe Google's algorithm will help us out. The ultimate PAX West 2024 party list. Well, that's good news. That's coming up. But there is some bad news. There's going to be potentially some fewer people out there. And that is because, let me preface this by saying Game Informer has gone through some stuff over the last few years. It's owned by GameStop. And earlier this year, they decided, you know what? We're going to sort of separate Game Informer, the magazine, a little bit from Game Informer, the website. You guys can go out and subscribe to the magazine separately. And I did. I subscribed to the magazine. Killer price. It was like $20. I'm like, this is awesome. Can't wait. I'm going to support Game Informer because they do good work. There's good articles. And I like to still have physical magazines. And I visit the website often. I look for news on there on stuff that I'm not reporting on. Well, news today, we were treated is maybe not the right way to say it. Notified that the final level, farewell from Game Informer. Game Informer is shutting down unexpectedly. So unexpectedly that staff woke up this morning. Some articles had gone live uh, this morning, and then they got all notified that, hey, by the way, it's done, it's over, your jobs are gone, which is just the shittiest way to do it. On top of that, their archive is gone as well. So if your work is on Game Informer, you may not be able to get to it.
Jeez.
Like, there are people who have written hundreds, potentially thousands of articles for Game Informer, and none of that is available. And it's just GameStop. It's just this continual churn of the industry that's been shitty. I mean, earlier in the week, we found out that Bungie was laying off like 300, 200 something people, which is garbage. And then to cap it off with this, Game Informer unexpected. There are only like 2 or 3 magazines left, like gaming magazines left out there.
Yeah.
I think Edge, PC Gamer, and I pay like $5 a month for Nintendo Force to get that every couple of months. So there's not much else. Sad state of affairs, to be honest. And I hate. It seems like every week we're reporting on layoffs and studio closures and all that kind of stuff, but this one's extra sad because they've been around for 32, 33 years, something wild like that. They were a staple of me going into GameStop and whatever it was called before then. I don't remember what it was called before GameStop. It was like five other companies before then, Babbage or EB Games, Babbage's, things like that.
Electronics
Boutique, et cetera, exit software, et cetera.
That's what it was.
And I would get the magazine there. Like, I would buy it because it'd be sitting there, and I'd think, oh, Game Informer is a really cool. And it's been around for a long, long time. Yeah. It had more readers than like New York Times and than most major newspapers in America. For a while there, Game Informer was one of the like top 2 or 3 publications, it felt like. So this is really sad, and I kind of haphazardly made the joke earlier, made the comment, I should say, of the whole trickle down economics. Well, it's definitely working because as the big companies and the software companies, the tech industry is laying people off, that bad economy is trickling down to the folks that support it, the folks that report on it, freaking coffee shops. That trickle down's happening. Places are closing because these big companies are falling apart. So it is just yet another blow to this industry. I say this industry at the same time. You and I and nobody on staff is fully involved. Like, we all have full-time jobs. This is a hobby for us.
Yeah.
And the only way we're able to do it because it is a hobby for us. We don't get paid for this kind of thing. And it pains me that the people who do actual work and are putting in all these hours who are getting way more views than us. Trust me, you don't get paid, you don't do the work and not get views. Are suffering. It's just sad, and it's a bummer because, again, Game Informer is fantastic. I got one issue that I got, and it ended, so I immediately put my refund in because, man, fuck GameStop for ruining this thing.
Yeah, and plus GameStop has churned out like some of the coolest and funniest games writers out there.
Yeah, Game Informer's. Oh, yeah.
Ben Hansen from MinMax and Leo Baker, like they've all been from Game Informer.
Andrew Reiner.
Just a bunch of great people.
Great people. We've had folks on the SideQuest that were writers for Game Informer at different times. Brian Shea, who's a good buddy of mine, one of the editors there, just phenomenal writer. I see him at every event because he's always traveling and putting his heart and everybody on staff putting their heart and soul into this. And it just goes to show you, no matter how much you love a company, it ends up usually going nowhere. Like, I hate to say it, we got to treat our workplaces like jobs that will devalue us, and it's unfortunate. But yeah,
Greg, I didn't put a title in, Greg.
Yeah, he doesn't need a title.
That's how. Funny.
Well, that he just goes by Johnny. I need a qualifier for my name, but you just need Johnny.
Yeah, well, for Dally, usually it's like not the ship.
Yeah, exactly. There's another little bit of news. I'm not going to go into any more like layoffs or anything, but for anybody that was really looking forward to Avowed, one of Microsoft's tentpole properties this fall season. Well, guess what? That ain't happening now. The game's been delayed to February 2025. So there were like 2 or 3 games that Microsoft was really hanging its hat on for this year, and Avowed was one of them. They made a big deal about it, and now Avowed is not launching this year. Needs a little bit more time, and needs to really make sure that they're
really breaking their vows.
Oh, no Vowed. No, that made no sense. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, I hate saying it this way, but the game never really like sparked any interest with me. But I'm sure there were fans of. I think it's in the. It's in the Pillar. It's in a game universe.
I'm going to be honest with you, Dally. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Yeah, and that may be an issue. Yeah, it's Obsidian's game. Dude, Obsidian, we need Fallout New Vegas Part 2, by the way. Get on it. But yeah, hey, it was Microsoft's big RPG this year, and it's not happening, and so that's a bit of a bummer. Microsoft's not having a good time right now with sales and stuff, anyways. But if you're hoping to get Game Pass stuff going, you ain't gonna have Avowed. Thank you to our friends at Gematsu for talking about this. But that's it for the news. I don't want to get into anything else because I'll get way too depressed. I want to actually get into enjoyable, good talk about games that we are playing, and we are definitely playing some games. And I'm going to let you go first because you are such a gentleman. You're so nice and polite, and I am not a gentleman. I like to just kind of just jump in there and be like, "Hey guys, listen to me. I'm loud." But you've been so wonderful during this episode. I'm going to let you go first, and I'm going to let you talk about this first game because this game, I guess you could say, signify. I don't know. It really etches into stone the way I feel about you tonight. And the game is called "Thank Goodness You're Here." Oh man, that was nicely done. Thank you. Tell me about Thank Goodness You're Here.
It's okay. So this game is I guess it's like a 2D platformer, but it's a very casual game. I would almost call it close to a walking simulator, but I would say it's almost like a cartoon simulator. It's very funny. I really, really like it. It's there's no challenge to it at all, really, but it was constantly surprising me with like gags and like what it was doing. You just kind of go around this world and as this little yellow guy, and things are just happening around you, and you just coincidentally you that was also very funny.
Away. Yeah.
But you just coincidentally help people out.
Okay.
By just kind of like going around and talking to people.
Hence the title, Thank Goodness You're Here.
Yeah. You like show up and they're like, oh, thank goodness. And it's all very British, and Matt Berry is in it. He
excellent.
Yeah, he does some voices to it in it. And it's a very weird town that you're in. Weird things happen. Yeah, so there's Big Ron's Big Pies, and there's also there's like a Tiny Pies guy that gets all pissed off about Big Ron's Big Pies. He's like, why didn't you get Big Pie? There's so much in it that's very funny. And it's a brisk little game. It's like 4 or 5 hours, I think.
Okay.
And
just lovely art style. Just love the animation.
Animation's excellent. Animation's excellent. The characterization of things is great. There's the way it works is you have sort of like these different areas of town, and they're sort of connected by these passageways that are kind of gated off whenever need to be gated off, and then you can just it kind of goes in a loop. There's like 3 main areas that you go into, and there's like places that you go off to and do other things as well. But yeah, like you do like some things in one area, and then like something opens up, and then you go to the other area and do some things there. And each time you go to a different area, you have to like go through this convoluted sort of way of doing it. Like there's one where you're going through a pipe, you see it in the trailer here, and like your head's big and it like deforms the pipe and stuff. And like there's like this that right there.
Yeah.
And there's like this portion where you go underneath a house and there's like a Princess Diana commemorative plate there. And it kind of knocks it a little bit as each time as you go. And there's another part where I don't want to spoil too much, but there's another part where you go through this person's chimney, and you do it several times, and it gets progressively funnier every single time. I was very surprised. I was surprised at how funny it is. Doing comedy in games is generally extremely hard, but this really nails it. It's excellent. There's things that surprise me. There's like little vignettes that just like happen out of nowhere where you're just watching this little movie about one of the characters in the town. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. You know, if you want like a hardcore platformer, that's not going to be it. This isn't the game. That's not the game at all. But this is, it's an experience where you are helping out of town and having a few laughs.
I mean, it looks enjoyable. It looks joyful. Just the visuals. So you mentioned the animation is great. That's what really kind of draws me into it at first. Like when I first saw the video for this, I'm like, wow, this is just really neat animation. I don't know what's going on, but because they're able to emphasize the animation, they can actually take chances on storytelling. They can take chances with the comedy. And I think that's really kind of an interesting way to approach.
It's really impressive. It's you are this tiny little guy, but they also play with the size of him as well. Like sometimes like you're like just like a regular normal little sized guy, but then other times you're like on top of like a bar and like you're like this big. But like it's great. It's really, really fun. Highly recommended. And I think it's only like $20. So
that's something. It feels like the way you're describing it. I would love to see other like famous animation properties like this game get adapted for like Family Guy or Simpsons or whatever. You know, something really interesting.
Yeah, that would be honestly very. You know, this could be a template for that kind of thing.
Sure.
Greg in the chat says that it reminds him of Later Alligator, and yeah, it definitely has those vibes.
Okay. Yeah, nice, very cool, excellent. So thank goodness here. I kept every time I was trying to search for the video and get the information together prior to this. Prior to getting you the code and then trying to get the info for here, I kept getting it mixed up with I Think You Should Leave, and I'm looking for. I'm like, I know the game's not called I Think You Should Leave, but it sounds like it. So yeah,
they should collab, but they should do.
Dude, and I Think You Should Leave game in the vein of Thank Goodness You're Here. Thank goodness you're here, but I Think You Should Leave would be a phenomenal game. You've been playing a different kind of game, something that's not maybe so joyful.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be joyful, I guess, depending on what mood you're in. Anger, and it's called Angerfoot.
Yeah. So yeah, it's hard to talk about this game because I think a lot of like really good ideas went into it, and I think a lot of really good work has been done on it. But I don't think for me I don't really enjoy it very much. Basically, what it is, it's first person Hotline Miami. Where the number one thing that you're doing is you're kicking down doors, and you can't even like open doors regularly. You can only kick them open, and you can see in the trailer here you can shoot things and kick stuff, and you know all this other stuff. It's very action heavy, very one hit and you're dead type of thing. It's what else can I say about it?
Sure.
Basically it, as opposed to Hotline Miami, where you're just kind of trying to get through the level, you are doing the same thing. You're trying to get through the level, but there's like a sort of a score attack type of thing where it gives you certain challenges where you get stars at the end, like go through go through the level in under 25 seconds or whatever, and that gives you a
Mm-hmm.
star. And so you get enough stars and you unlock shoes that give you little extra abilities, sort of like how Hotline Miami gives you different masks that give you different abilities. So, you know, it wears its influences on its sleeve, but and you know, it's dripping with style. It's very, very good. It's got like this sort of urban pop art type of style. Yeah, but for me, I don't personally like it. It felt very samey. It also felt very puzzle-like, where if you want to get all the stars, you have to do the level in a certain way. You know, it just didn't appeal to me as much as I feel like it should. And like for some reason, it doesn't feel like frenetic as it wants to be. Like in the trailer here, you can kind of see it's really frenetic and stuff. But you know, I feel like you know, compare this to something like I can't remember, Mad Mullet Jack, or I can't remember what it was called. Mullet Mad Jack, that's what it's called.
Okay.
Which also is published by Devolver. But Mullet Mad Jack, that felt like you're like just like screaming through the level, and this, it feels sort of like you have to make a choice to scream through the level or not, and it doesn't really lend itself to this type of gameplay where it's like this run and gun, and it wants to be like this frenetic thing, but it just doesn't have it. There's no like momentum to how you're moving, and I don't know. It just doesn't feel like what it wants to be.
It's a little disappointing, I guess, from what you're saying, because you know, when I played the demo for this, they kind of give you a room or kind of the first level and whatever, and you're like, okay, this is kind of cool. I can get used to this, and the idea being that you can keep trying, and then if you die, you just kind of start back over and go back at it fairly quickly. It's pretty generous about you know, whatever locations, that kind of stuff. But then you sort of pick up the rhythm aspect of, okay, I'm going to have to grab this wrench when I get in the next room and then throw it and then turn around right away and then kick the guy and then turn back around. So you almost have to kind of remember some of that stuff. And then once that happens, it doesn't feel like an actual frenetic game. It ends up feeling more like a rhythm, like just remember the beats, right? You know, just like remember the beats for each room, and you can kind of go into it blind. It's almost like a speed running blind thing, you know?
There's definitely there's definitely people that would enjoy this. Like I really think if you are like the type of person that wants to really nail a level down and like you get really good, you get a lot of satisfaction from that, I think this might be for you. But for me personally, I don't know. I just feel like what I like about games is I like how novel games are. You know, I like games that are weird. I'm like a weirdo, you know.
Sure.
So you know, not for me. But if you think that you might like a first-person Hotline Miami sort of shoot 'em up, give the demo a try. See if you like it. You know, this could be a 7 out of 10 for somebody out there.
Okay, excellent. All right.
And that's is always the end of what I have to say.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, similar to the Neon White. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, I've been playing game back on some more of the charming stuff, and the game that I have been playing is called SteamWorld Heist 2. SteamWorld Heist 2. I have to preface this by saying I'm a huge SteamWorld fanatic for the IP. I just think it's a really good IP. It's got great character designs. It's actually one big universe with one big storyline of steam-powered robots that start on an Earth-like planet and kind of make their way across the universe, and other stuff happens along the way. So it actually is all set in the same universe. This game is the first SteamWorld Heist game I loved. I thought it was just technically sound. It's really fun. It's a solid way to do 2D tactical stuff. And you learn to get better as someone as someone playing a tactical game and juggling the characters, juggling your squad, making your way across these sort of 2D levels. The SteamWorld Heist 2 builds on almost every aspect of the first game. And I say almost because it doesn't drastically change the 2D, like the actual tactical part of it. That's still there. It kind of does some little tweaks and quality of life refinements, things like that. But what they've done with the rest of the game really makes it feel more open and welcoming, and as if it has a lot of depth in it. Real similar to how SteamWorld Dig 2 opened up the concept of SteamWorld Dig 1 to allow for a lot more things. So SteamWorld Heist 2 definitely feels much more open than first. When the first one was precise, everything was intentional. This game gives a lot more freedom to do things. Like we don't feel constricted like in a map. It's now this big open world where the first one was sort of point-to-point movement on the map to get to these 2D levels. This is now a whole world. You can adventure as much as you want and go around and kind of do the exploration aspect, which the first game didn't have any exploration. We now have an inventory that we can actually manage, a much more open inventory. And really, one of the best parts is that the characters are now buildable and tunable into what we want them to be. That, again, the first game, class-based, and your character was a linear build path. If they were a healer, they were always a healer, and then you may not end up using them very much. That's kind of stuff that happened to me. This game gives you those base classes, those base abilities, and says this person will always heal, or for instance, another person will always have this teleportation ability. Another one can block attacks, or another person can return damage. You can now build on those base abilities with all these different jobs and classes. So my teleportation dude can still teleport, but now they also have the build of a heavy, so they can actually teleport to other parts of the stage that I've been to and use the heavy skills or the sniper skills and things like that. So it's really interesting from that standpoint, in that, again, I'll hit this replay button, in that, you have that base. You have the strong base of who this character is and what their personality is, but now you can really customize them to make them your type of build. And it's a lot like, it reminds me almost of Final Fantasy VI, because Final Fantasy VI, you had each character has their own whether you attack like Sabin, you can transform like Terra, you can do stuff, you can steal like Locke, but then you can build up all the rest of their skill sets and jobs using the summons essentially to become these maxed out characters with all these different skill sets, but now having that base. And that's what SteamWorld Heist 2 actually allows you to do. And that really opens up how I build and use my team when I'm playing all these different levels. So back to those levels, it's interesting. I love this world design. The stages are great. I kind of mentioned it in my preview back in June or July, whenever it was. You're no longer just in sort of this one style of an area. Yeah, it's still 2D platforming, but now everything's multi-tiered and multi-layered. So yeah, you go through, you clear out this level, but then you get a mid-boss in there. And then you have to do a rescue portion. And then you have to escape. But on your escape, there's also loot aspects. So it's not just go in, clear out a room, and leave, and then go to the next, area on a world map. There are multiple things you can accomplish in these stages, and multiple layers. That there's some even have like dialogue aspects to it and relationship building stuff, which is thrown in there. It just feels really sort of unique from a tactics game, and it turns these stages, I guess you could say, almost into levels. Like, you go from a couple screen stage to a Mario-like level, I guess is maybe the best way to say it. So there is much more to do in these areas, much more to explore, and I really like that aspect of it. Of course, the tactical side is still super strong. You're learning to aim. You're figuring out if you can ricochet stuff, and then some of the characters have the sight, some don't. Some can bounce things, some can't, and you're learning that as you go along. And then you get to a point, I think the game is like 30 hours, 25 to 30 hours long, by hour 10, you've sort of figured out the mechanical side of things, and by that time you've essentially picked up the majority of your characters, so you start to understand who is good at what and how to work their attacks and how to sort of juggle and stack a lot of that stuff. So yeah, tactical side still great, gameplay is still awesome, but it's really all the extra stuff that I like I said that I've really fallen in love with. The music is terrific. I think the band that the company uses to develop the audio for this is called Steam Powered. I think it's called Steam Powered Giraffe. Don't quote me on it. I'll have to look it up. But it's essentially their in-house band, and they do all the music for this. And you can't help but like actually crank the music up a little louder. I had it on the Steam. I've been playing mostly on the Steam Deck, and I love, or say, I rarely turn the volume up on the Steam Deck on games, but there's something about like robotic sea shanties that I think is really fun and really interesting, because the stories that they're singing, the stuff they're talking about, isn't about like pirates and dolphins and mermaids. It's about like robotic takes on those types of things. So it's actually fun lyrics and fun takes on the music. But yeah, all of that open stuff is so cool. There's the overworld is great. There's a fog of war that you can kind of see in the trailer there, but it entices you to keep adventuring and exploring. Like I said, the first game was sort of point to point. Like you go from one stop to the next, and you go in, you clear it out, and then you go to the next one. In this one, you can travel around the entire sort of Caribbean themed planet. By the way, there's multiple biomes. You didn't hear from me. And every time I would see a little bit of fog left over, I would want to clear it out. I want to get over there. I want to explore and find out what's there. And it's like, oh, wow, I found a new island. Or I find two of the game's factions are attacking each other, which is another cool thing, because the ship that you're kind of moving around on actually can engage in naval battles, and they're automated. So you have like guns on either side, and you have certain things that you can do, and you can upgrade the guns and different types of, torpedoes and things like that. But depending on how you're facing and how you're turning and how you're moving around, it really feels like those. I don't know if you've ever played the old Pirates games, but it really feels like sort of classic PC style naval battles, thrown in with a little bit of like bullet hell in there, because you'll get into a situation where there'll be like several ships on screen, and there's just bullets flying everywhere, and you're doing your best to avoid them. And it can get chaotically fun. But yeah, that part feels almost like a whole separate game from the 2D stuff, and I love that aspect too. It's like you're not just getting this 2D game, you're also getting naval battles, you're also getting a bunch of other things, the relationship building. There's in this trailer, you can see a lot of the stars that are kind of floating there. Those are reputation stars. Depending on how good you are in certain areas, your reputation level goes up, and you can go back into levels, and let's say you didn't get the loot the first time around. You only got 2 of the 5 bags of loot. Well, you can go back in there and replay portions of that level and try to get that loot and get better stars and things like that. So I think that is always good to incorporate into a game. In the first game, didn't have that. I actually went back and played that first SteamWorld Heist, and as much as I loved it, the first times I've played it, like I reviewed it way back when it first launched, loved it. I reviewed it on a couple other platforms, loved it. I played it recently on the Switch and on the Steam Deck and on other platforms just to get ready for this. Still loved it. After playing this game, absolutely difficult to go back to that, because of how close. I don't say not like it's not constricted in a bad way, but it's how linear it feels compared to this game.
It's like a prototype of this game.
It kind of feels like it's building the base of what this game is. So yeah, SteamWorld Heist, the original, really is the backbone. It's the core of what they wanted to do, which was, it feels like this is what the game that they wanted to do and really explore. And that was the proof of concept, and it still works great, mechanically sound, great visual design, but this is the actual, like, the thing that they've wanted to make all along. And I think it plays great. It's a lot of fun. There are some hindrances there, here and there, obviously, and like not every game is perfect. There are some, aspects of having to wait for your characters to recharge in between battles, which I'm never the biggest fan of. But and it can get there are times where it can get kind of overly easy. So I did find myself like ratcheting up the difficulty level like a little bit. It's even with like some bosses, I would jack it up. Like if the boss was being really kind of easy in certain areas, I just kind of felt like I was OP. So I found myself, after I cleared out a level, I just inch up that difficulty and try to make it more difficult for myself, I should say. And a lot of that is depending on who I had on my team. Like maybe I did focus on having more of a healer and a melee and a sniper as opposed to some of the other characters on the team. But there are a lot of characters. I think there's like, I want to say 8 to 10 characters you can choose from and adjust all of them. And they all have their unique abilities. I really enjoyed it. It's a huge world. Surprised at how much they were able to fit in. I thought the first game had a lot, and this has double that. But I think it's double that because of all this really neat stuff they did with opening up the world and making it sort of this fun, more of an exploration. Really focusing on that pirate side, that Caribbean side of things, I think, is what really helps in the end. So yeah, SteamWorld Heist 2. Definitely recommend it. It's not for everybody because not everybody loves these 2D tactic games, but to see sort of this genre, this lighthearted tactical genre perfected in the way that it is, I think is really a cool testament to what they were able to accomplish. I don't think you need to make another SteamWorld game, SteamWorld Heist game, because you've nailed it. But to everybody else, I would definitely give it a shot. Especially if you've played any SteamWorld game before, I think you'd really enjoy this from that aspect. So yeah,
well,
it feels.
I loved SteamWorld Heist. I thought
cool.
I remember looking at the trailer for SteamWorld Heist, the first one, and just being like, this looks really simple.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know like how they're doing it, but then I was like, it was on sale, so I bought it, and I fell in.
Oh, he disappeared. He fell in love with it. He was gonna say, it's good. It's a good game. First SteamWorld Heist is awesome. Oh, he's logging back in. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, he's gone. Sorry, Johnny. His time is coming to a close. I think his the clock was struck close to 10. He's going to turn into that pumpkin that he showed us a second ago. But it's all good, Johnny. Regardless, SteamWorld Heist 2. Yeah, great. Check it out. The core that makes SteamWorld Heist great is there, but it is he loved it so much he had to leave to buy it right away. Good call. Yeah, gotta make the order in. It's available on everything. Thank you to the folks for. Oh, there he is. All right, adding it back in. The joke was you loved it so much you had to go and buy it right away, and then downloading the game was just too much of a strain. But you're saying
I got a flash flood warning on my phone, and it was like,
oh no,
kicked me off.
Oh, that's crazy. But you said crazy. You loved it, right?
Okay. So yeah, I love SteamWorld Heist 1. So knowing that SteamWorld Heist 2 is like that, that's definitely going to be something that I buy.
Yeah, the core, like I said, the core of the first game is there, but now they've actually used that as, like you said, sort of the proof of concept, and they've turned it into something that I think is actually really fun. Again, it's like 30 hours, so I don't know if that's long for folks, but I think there's just enough story content and there's just enough variety to keep you going. Plus, again, that 30 hours is trying to get 5 stars, 6 stars, whatever on everything, and trying to get all the loot. There are actually a lot of fun little side missions that you can do along the way too. So 30 hours, because I am when it comes to games like this, if there's stars, if there's a rating somewhere, I'm gonna max that shit out, and I'm gonna try to keep going back until you hook me with the stars, man. That's how it always goes. But yeah, SteamWorld Heist 2, and that is all the stuff that we've been playing. And we've been playing more. We'll get to more of that next time. A lot of the folks on staff could be with us. That's okay. It is Friday. It can be difficult to wrangle everybody together. I know, because I've been unable to get together with anybody this week because I've been so freaking busy. This was essentially the first free minute I have. And thank you to Johnny. Thank goodness you were here. to join me. And thank you to all of our wonderful viewers, wonderful listeners, and everybody else involved. And again, really want to say thank you. You can check us out at sidequesting.com, SideQuesting TV over on YouTube and Twitch. Hop into the Discord. We actually have some really great conversations in there. A lot of great people in there. The PAX stuff coming up. Anytime there's like a big event, social event, gathering event, people flood the Discord, which is totally cool. We get to meet all kinds of new folks, and everybody's always pleasant. And with that, hope you have a wonderful weekend. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead. We really hope that, I just want to say I hope you have somebody to spend some time with, and if you can't, hop online, spend some time with us. We want to make sure everybody's in a good place, especially with all the craziness of the world today. Love you, Johnny.
Love you too, Dolly.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode of the Side Quest. Toodles.